Hey, what's up, guys? Today on the Latched Mama podcast, we are going to be talking to our fantastic designer who not only has some mad clothing designing skills, but she also has a big family. So we're going to compare notes. I've got 5 kids. She's got 6. We're going to talk about the highs, the lows, what we love, what we struggle with when we're raising our big families. Enjoy it. You're listening to the Latched Mama podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Wirt, business owner and tired mom of 5. Join us each week as we talk about pregnancy, nursing, parenting, and all things motherhood. And I have brought our amazing, fantastic, we do not deserve her, designer Lindi in here to talk a little bit about clothes, but mostly about family stuff. Lindi is my one. I shouldn't have favorites, but she's one of my favorites in the office. We're close to the same stage of parenting life, but Lindi also has a big family, which if anybody else has a big family out there, when you meet somebody else who has a big family, there's like this kindred bond that immediately happens because you know that your chaos is probably very similar to their chaos. So on the days that Lindy's in the office, they're definitely my favorite days. So she designs clothes and she's also my person. So hi, Lindi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this with us.
Yeah.
Lindi and I also share the fact that we're pretty introverted. So things like this are, good for us. It pushes us out of our comfort zone, right?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
All right. My name is Lindi, and I've been married for about, I think it's 14 years this year.
Wow.
It's in 2005. So, yep, 14.
How old were you when you got married?
15 years. It's hard to count anymore. I think I just turned 22.
Okay, so
23.
you were legal to drink at your wedding? Barely.
Barely, yes. I graduated college that spring, and then we were married in September.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And then, I worked a little bit full time. And our first kid was born 2008.
Okay.
And then we proceeded to have 5 more. So we have 6. And
was that always the plan?
No, we talked about 4.
Okay.
We'd kind of talked about 4. And then we had 2 boys and 2 girls. And we're like, yay.
You had your 4.
We're done.
And then what happened?
And I distinctly remember we drove home from vacation at the beach. I was like really nauseous and just feeling sick. And I'm like, I feel awful and it's not going away. And he's just looked over and he's like, you should take a test. And I'm like, nope, I'm not. It's just going to go away. And 2 days later, he's like, just take a test. And so I did. And bit of denial.
So that's 5.
That was 5. So we had having 5 kids. And then I went in for like a late. By the time I could get in, it was like 9.5, 10 weeks.
Okay.
And I was like, can we just do a dating ultrasound, because I was always really irregular and I just wanted to kind of know where I was at. And she's like, sure. She's like, your uterus feels a little bit bigger, but that's normal because 5 pregnancies. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because it's all stretched out. And she's like, but let's go ahead and do it. And yep, there were 2 in there. And I don't really have a whole lot of words for that day. I do have text messages between my husband, and they're pretty hilarious. We put those in the baby book.
That's awesome. So you have 6.
Yeah.
So the girls are about to turn 4?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're almost to the point where like everybody's in school maybe, or like you're getting there.
Yeah, they're in preschool. But it was funny the other day, I sat down and I was like, they're almost 4. I'm like, you understand, like if we backtrack years, I'd already had 2 more babies by now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, I can't even imagine.
Oh,
Like, no.
It's a lot of bodies. It's a lot of people.
It's good though.
what's your favorite thing about having 6 of them running around?
Well, I'd always said when we wanted kids, we talked about 4, and I wanted them not back to back, like super close, but I was like, I wanted to be done by the time I was 30.
Okay.
Having kids. So I almost made that. I think I was 32 when the twins.
Okay.
Yeah, 32. So I technically with the 4th I was done, but
yeah,
it didn't happen. I don't know. It's kind of like this beautiful chaos.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I love how my kids, like being able to be independent and find something to do on your own, but they do so well in a group.
Yeah.
And I don't always see that. Just kids being able to work out some situations and figure out how to like play as a team, work as a group.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like, I know I'm just now getting my sea legs with number 5. She's just kind of at 4 months old, letting herself kind of be part of the group and screaming when she wants attention and not just crying and, trying to find her little place in the pack. But I do sometimes feel myself torn between who gets to sit on my lap or who gets help with the iPad or, who gets to sit next to me at the dinner table, things like that. Do you sometimes feel kind of pulled in a whole bunch of different directions? I mean, I think that that's normal no matter how many kids you have, but the day is short. And if you have 6 to spread it between.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And I think the energy and the time to devote for us has really come in stages.
Mm-hmm.
There were some years where we were like literally just all surviving, or we've kind of had group stages to where the boys, so my 2 older boys, and they're 11 and 9, they're just under 2 years apart. And then I have an 8-year-old daughter and an almost 6-year-old daughter. They're my biggest gap, 2.5 years. And then the twins they came just under 2 years. So I actually have kind of a nice little, it all works out. The 2 boys, the 2 middle girls, I think that's the toughest relationship. But, spending time, we were able to do kind of 2, okay, I'll take the girls, do a boys trip, or mom will take the boys for ice cream. Now we're getting into a little bit different where I kind of gauge an emotional or kind of a mental state. Mm-hmm. My twins seem to get a lot of the hands-on right now just because they're younger. Granted, they're learning all the time, but my 6th grader, my middle schooler, we really try to get some one-on-one time, and definitely dad. Mm-hmm. And then my middle ones. Middle ones always seem to fight for the attention up and down, so we try to make sure to provide that. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, what I've learned from kind of watching you and what you have done, it's been really cool to kind of watch you, for the lack of a better word, kind of batch them together, where you'll take, the 3 oldest to Great Wolf Lodge for the weekend, or you'll, just take 1 or 2 or 3, and it's really, it's kind of motivating to me to figure out, hey, it's okay to kind of break it up and do big kid stuff with the big kids, and let the younger ones, stay at home maybe, or stay with dad or grandma or something like that. I think it's been cool to kind of watch you make sure that you're making priorities for all of them and stuff. It's
a really hard decision to make, and not everybody agrees. And I think that's okay. But at the end of the day, I think once I got to 4 kids, if I wasn't in a good place mentally and physically and kind of emotionally, I couldn't be that mom I needed to be in that time. So, and we have a very big, well, they're actually pretty close together, but you go from an almost 12-year-old down to 4-year-olds. Like, we can't really go and see the same movie, although we did all go see Frozen too. But we can't all see the same movie. We can't really all do the same thing. Like, we want to take them tubing at Massanutten. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to wrestle with, okay, at this stage in life, this activity's not for you. So those 2 little ones, they get a weekend with Gigi, or, a weekend with Honey. We call, Honey and Gigi our 2 grandmas. And then we also have another sweet grandma as well. But that's a hard decision to make. But if we just take everybody everywhere,
Yeah.
I can't be the mom and give the teen time or the preteen time or to like the toddler. It's just too much for me.
Yeah.
So we've made those decisions to kind of, split them up a little bit sometimes.
It's kind of exhausting even hearing you figure out mental energy that goes to a 12-year-old versus the mental energy that goes to a 4-year-old. But I guess that's kind of the game we're all in at this point. We have some funny questions. We kind of polled the office today and said, hey, what do you guys want Lindi and I to talk about when it comes to big families? Somebody's question was, what are the top 3 things you always buy at the grocery store? You always buy in bulk.
Well, if we want to talk 6th season, I'd say paper towels. Toilet paper is probably the most thing we go through. We got 2 kind of mastering that potty training that uses way too much toilet paper. What are some other things? I mean, I buy puke bags in bulk just because they're cheaper and I refuse to clean out containers anymore. But I mean, really, probably meats, snacks, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Do you
Nothing super cool.
I know, like
probiotics.
When people ask me like what, I mean, I guess I'm falling now into that big family category. There are some certain things that really do bring me like crazy anxiety. And when one of them gets sick, I have this, oh my gosh, what is the next 2 to 3 weeks of my life going to look like? And then I start Googling like, well, what's the incubation period of the flu? Okay, well, if it's the flu, I know within 2 days, if somebody else is going to get it, they're going to get it. Or my mother-in-law tells this story that when her boys got the chicken pox growing up, because it was before the vaccine, that they all pushed it right to the end of the incubation period. So it was like one got it, and then 3 weeks later, the second one got it, and then 3 weeks later, the third one got it. So she was basically on lockdown for 9 weeks straight. So I know that brings, especially this season, totally brings me anxiety. We had an awesome stomach bug. I don't know if you can ever say awesome, but it was fantastic because it was one threw up, 12 hours later, one threw up, 12 hours later, one threw up, 12 hours later, one threw up. And it was great because it was 4 days over and I was done and I could bleach bomb the house and we could move on with life. So
yeah.
I for some reason, that's the one thing that gets me. Is the sicknesses, but
And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. I think I told you the other day, and so we all share rooms. I had 2 boys, 2 middles, and 2 at the bottom. And my second daughter got sick. Did her sibling? No. The next one that got sick was the middle schooler. Like same thing, but the middle schooler. Did his roommate get sick? Nope. Who got sick next? A twin. And would she have the fever? No, she threw up. Like, I'm like, I'm looking for like this rhyme or reason. And like, there was none. It was really like defeating. Yeah.
Oh goodness. What do you do if the house was empty? There were no kids there. Does that ever happen?
No.
Has it ever happened?
Maybe a couple days, but I'm usually in here on those days when no one's home.
What do you do to kind of self-care in terms of making sure that you're finding the time to kind of decompress from the chaos that is natural with a bunch of kids?
It's really hard to find the time.
Yeah.
I really don't often get that much. But if I did, I'd like to take care of the home now. Like if you asked me 3 years ago, I was so depleted and just run down. Mm-hmm. But now it's like you start to get that energy back, and I like to take care of what's mine. So I really don't mind when there's nobody there. I can clean that house. Yeah. Because no one's coming behind me to like screw it all up. Yeah. So I don't mind catching up on laundry, but I do enjoy reading. Not always a book that kind of will like better me, that my husband will get on me about. But I like to read different books, whether it's relationships or just different things that I don't know, good thriller or something, but I don't often get that.
I know my kids are a little bit younger than yours. So mine are almost 8, 6, 4, 2, and then 4 months. And I know bath time is by far the craziest part of my day. There's naked wrestling, there's running around, there's not wanting to go to bed, there's just the typical stuff. But like, I honestly, at that point in the day, I'm tired, they're tired, nobody's listening. I feel like every night we are like literally centimeters away from somebody having to go get stitches, or it's total chaos. I assume it gets better as they get older. But is it still chaos at your house too, or is it?
I mean, I'm hoping we're coming up on a somewhat organized chaos, but our latest discussion was that we either lack a second water heater or we're going to need to upgrade to like something really good.
Does everybody bathe at night or?
So no, we've tried. So the little ones, we really try to bathe every day. They're still in pull-ups at night. So just, I don't know, being in a pull-up, and they're still, working on their pottying and their wiping and all that. So no, they get a bath every day. And then we've tried to do a girls' night, boys' night, boys' night. So it's like every other day. But then we're also trying to push this like middle school preteen, like body hygiene and care. So I'd love for him to go shower, but I don't know. I can't say it gets easier because they still just don't care and they don't want to shower. So I usually preface with like, I'm going to tell you this one time. And like, I don't want to hear one bit of back. They're like, you're going to ask me to take a shower, right? And I'm like, go right now.
Yeah.
Go take it. It takes 120 seconds. Scrub your body, wash your hair, and get out. We tried to get some little like music players, and but we're not that fancy enough. So it needs to connect to a phone. Like we don't have any like Echo Dots or anything like that. So I was hoping the music would like get them in there. But
how about meal times? Are those
our
crazy?
meal times are still, it's the one that I've yet to find some sort of chaos. There really can't be a sit down. If we want to sit down all together, I need somebody serving. Like I'd have to hire like some high school kids in the neighborhood. So, and my husband works really, he works super hard. So he doesn't really get home till a bit later, and kids are hungry at 5. So the kids often eat a little bit earlier.
Do you make dinner every night?
Nope. I don't make dinner every night. I try to cook like 3 times a week. A really big batch of like taco meat that we can make various different, whether you want a hard taco salad, different things, a big lasagna, rolls and salad that can do multiple meals. We do pizza one night each week. It's usually Fridays. I've done some tzatziki's family of 4 meals, but not everybody eats that. Like that is one area that we really do struggle in, and we can do much better, but that just takes time.
Yeah.
It's
good to grant yourself a little grace.
Yeah.
We have the eat what's in front of you or you don't eat at all rule, which is a place that my husband and I definitely struggle because he is hardcore on it. Like if you don't eat your dinner, you can eat it for breakfast the next morning. You're not going up to bath. You're not, your night is not continuing unless you eat your dinner. Where at that point of the day, I am, let's just make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and let's move on with life. And he's all about life lessons all the time, which I'm sure will make them better people. But with 5 children, it's a little difficult sometimes to figure that all out. So if anybody has any advice, feel free to reach out and let us know how meal times work with your big families, because they're definitely a little crazy, both of our houses. Do your kids have chores?
Yeah, so we got a little late start on that too, because when I had like 6 under 7, like I don't have time to facilitate chores. Like it took more energy to get them. Now we cleaned up together, grab a fabric bin, pick up some toys, like that kind of stuff. But as far as like scheduled, it was really just like probably the last 2 years. So we have a chore chart on the fridge, and we still keep it relatively simple, but still have the time like the other ones don't get done. But we have a dishwasher, a vacuum, and a trash, And then the other one's kind of like, it was sweeping, but everybody can't wait for sweeping week because there's really not much sweeping to do. So we may turn it into like third floor cleanup or something. And then they got to take their bins of laundry up every day, which never happens. So.
Do you do all the laundry?
I have no problem taking some control over that. I don't mind washing it, drying it, and I don't mind folding it in there. Putting it away, I'm probably the worst. I probably have the more piles of clean clothes of my stuff in my room. So we have bins. We have big shelves in our laundry, and there's like a bin for the boys, middle girls, 2 little girls, and we have 2 linen bins. And it's just funny because I recommend they take it up every day, but no, they wait till it's like completely overflowing, and then they can't lift it up the stairs. And I'm like, we'll figure it out.
Do they pull their clothes from there when it's downstairs to wear for the day? Okay, good.
They'd rather leave it there.
Make sure that's normal because that's what my kids
And actually, the days where I'm like, it's all put away, I can't stand them because then
the clothes aren't downstairs and
like you need to go and find it out, and they're like,
I don't want to go upstairs. Yeah, same with me.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time when I had like 3 littles, we just had plastic drawers in the laundry room, so it would go straight from the dryer. I would turn around and I would just stick the clothes in the shirt drawer in the plastic thing. People with only a few kids, I highly recommend that because it worked amazing. Because nobody wants to go upstairs to get dressed, and I don't want to go back upstairs, especially with a little one if she's happy downstairs. To get them all dressed, and then I don't pick out the right thing, and it's a nightmare. What kind of car do you drive? This is kind of my favorite. Lindy has. I'm gonna just answer for you. Lindy has this beast that she just got. It's fantastic. What is it? A Ford something?
It's a Transit. Yeah, like a extended length.
So it's like what like subcontractors drive, but you have seats in it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Can you go through drive-throughs?
Oh yeah. So we got the low roof. I think I could have done the medium roof because we want to put a DVD player in it, but it's a little low. So we're gonna make it work. But the medium roof would have been fine to get into a parking garage.
I assume you would not change anything about your current life. But what advice do you have with people who maybe have that surprise 4th, 5th pregnancy, 5th and 6th? I guess it was 5 and 6 for you. Or thinking about keeping on going, having babies or big families. Is there anything? It sounds like you have organization pretty well under control.
Some days, but still some we don't. Like the dinner time, there's still things that I would love to improve. That one's just a tricky one for now. But I think when I was there, the feelings that you have are okay. It's okay to be frustrated or ask why or mad or excited or happy. Like, it's all okay. It's just, I don't know. I have no judgment for anybody else. If you want no kids, 1 kid, 10 kids, like, it's to each their own. But it's okay to feel different things along the way.
Yeah.
And it's really okay.
I think that's why I personally love you being around the office so much, is because we have so many different moms in different stages of motherhood. I mean, there are moms who are trying to get pregnant, moms who've had, losses, moms who are adding number 1 or number 3 or number 5. And, we joke about it, but I mean, there are so many lessons as you build your family that you learn, I think, because you also have kids that are also different. And I think that's what's really neat too, is that, you can chime in on a kid who's going to speech classes, or a kid that's, kind of struggling, socially. You have the ability, you homeschooled them for the first, how many?
4 years.
4 years before they,
or 5, I think.
Before they went to public school. So it's this wealth of knowledge that you get by not necessarily being a parent for a really long time, but also being a parent for different types of kids with different personalities and adding them, to the family and stuff, which is such an asset, around the office. And it's cool. I love it. It's something that's really, really important to me. And I think it's totally helped the culture at Latched Mama. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking about it.